Yesterday, we did this story about the draft dodger, President Donald Trump, slamming deputy sheriff's officer, deputy sheriff, I guess you would
Sheriff's
say.
deputy?
Sheriff's deputy, Scot Peterson, who was armed and at the school involved in the Parkland, Florida shooting, but did not run towards the shooter. And Donald Trump called him lacking courage. He said maybe he's a coward. Trump said all sorts of horrible things about Scot Peterson. And I really took it as an opportunity to point out that guns in these situations don't necessarily make the situations better, and they can actually make them worse. And Trump has been getting called out for his ridiculous comments about the coward Scot Peterson, and rightly so. And now Trump is on the defensive saying just flat out really dumb things. This seems to have gotten to Trump and triggered him to say just flat out stupid, ignorant things. Trump now is claiming if he had been at the school, even without a gun, he who would have run directly into the school and directly towards the gunman armed with an AR-15 style rifle, period. And let's take a listen to how Trump said it.
All right. The way they performed was frankly disgusting. They were listening to what was going on. The one in particular, he was early. Then you had three others that probably a similar deal a little bit later, but a similar kind of a thing. You know, I really believe, you don't know until you test it, but I really believe I'd run in there even if I didn't have a weapon. And I think most of the people in this room would have done that too, because I know most of you. But the way they performed was really a disgrace.
So listen, aside from whether it makes sense for a president to talk like this, aside from whether it would be logical for Trump to run in or for Trump not to run in, there is no chance in hell that Donald Trump is running in there. And in fact, we have Trump on record talking about how he's such a germaphobe. He told a story on the Howard Stern show once about how he was once at his club, Mar-a-Lago in Florida, and he thinks a guy was dying in front of him and the guy was bleeding and Trump just turned away. Here's the quote from Trump's interview with Howard Stern where he said, "I was at Mar-a-Lago and we had this incredible ball, the Red Cross ball in Palm Beach, Florida. And we had the Marines and the Marines were there and it was terrible because all these rich people, they're there to support the Marines, but they're really there to get their picture in the Palm Beach Post. So you have all these really rich people and a man about 80 years old, very wealthy man. A lot of people didn't like him. He fell off the stage. So what happens is this guy falls off right on his face, hits his head, and I thought he died. And you know what I did? I said, oh my God, that's disgusting. And I turned away. I couldn't, he was right in front of me and I turned away. I didn't want to touch him. He's bleeding all over the place. I felt terrible. Beautiful marble floor. Didn't look like it. It changed color, became very red. And you have this poor guy, 80 years old, laying on the floor unconscious. And all the rich people are turning away. Oh my God, this is terrible. This is disgusting. And they're turning away. Nobody wants to help the guy. His wife is screaming. She's sitting right next to him and she's screaming. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States. You're telling me that at his own club, he won't help a bleeding guy. And we're expected to believe he'd run unarmed into a school where a mass shooting is taking place? And never mind violence. Here's a picture of Trump not even protecting his own kid, Barron, from the rain. Here's Trump shielding himself with a huge umbrella while his kid is just getting soaked by rain. The delusions are getting worse, folks. Much, much worse. It's probably time to up the meds. And I would guess in any case that Trump's bone spurs would prevent him from running into the school anyway. At most, he'd be able to walk in there slowly. I cannot believe that anyone buys this guy's BS. He's sort of becoming Kim Jong-il. Remember when the late Kim Jong-il would say he shot 11 holes of golf his first time playing 11 holes in one his first time playing golf. He was walking when he was only 3 weeks old, and I think speaking fluent Korean when he was 7 or 8 weeks old. And yet, if you watch videos from CPAC, you understand why people believe him, because they all believe the BS that is being spoon-fed to them by these speakers.
I'm going to be a naysayer here. I actually give Trump a pass for this comment because I think he gave enough qualifiers. One, he said that he believes he would do this.
Well, I don't.
Not that he actually would. And the other pass would be that he said that you never really know until you're tested. And I think that is true.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked before about how I genuinely don't know what I would do if I was on an airplane and what I believe to be an attempt to hijack the plane went down, right?
Yeah.
At times, I think, I think I would try to get involved and do something. At other times, I think I might not necessarily for fear, but partially because I wouldn't want to accidentally maybe make the situation worse. He did qualify it, but do we even really believe Trump believes he would run towards the shooter? I don't know. He actually might. He does have delusions of grandeur such that maybe he actually does believe he would run towards the shooter with no gun.
It's a way to be. It's a way to get credit for being a hero
Without actually
having
doing
to
anything.
be one. Yeah.
To be totally fair to Trump, I mean, I'll sort of do another sort of Pat-like comment in which I will not really defend Trump, but I'll say this isn't as bad as it could be. This isn't a particularly huge lie or delusion. Trump is telling way bigger lies and experiencing much bigger delusions every day. This one's relatively petty and childish, but it's the entire toxic atmosphere that's come from the right after this shooting that I think Trump is sort of contributing to with his comments.